Hello everyone, good evening. Today is last day of November 30th. Tomorrow we start new monthly candles on the charts. But anyways, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Recaps from my community and my daily teachings for you all. So it's today was a very active day. There's a lot to learn in today's video because once again I'm going to talk about changing your bias when day trading. So we had two huge winners which were looking like losers, but we changed the bias, and one of those winners we changed the bias twice: long, short, and long, you know. And so I'm talking about CRM and snow. You can see my watch list right here, CRM and snow. So we will talk about those two, how we traded those CRM and snow. We will talk about a few other ideas, CPNG, NTNX, and we'll talk about our Google Short today, Tesla guidance, Meta and NVDA guidance, and the levels, the pivots that I give in the pre-market, and how the Boeing was strong today. Boeing was a strong play all day. So we will discuss that. So a lot to discuss. I will go fast today. Tomorrow I have a webinar, so I'm working on that. So I'm going to try to wrap this today's video pretty quickly, but overall pretty green and profitable day in the community. So quickly let's look at our level sheets, so you guys, you can look at the levels and then you can use those levels and then go back and do your homework. So today the levels were really good on especially the Boeing. I said it's a bullish day. Boeing was a bullish day. 226 pivot, and I did mention the strength, so that level was good. Google pivots worked flawlessly, so was SMCI 292, Tesla. So all the levels that I give every morning were worked flawlessly today, so that was good enough. So let's now look at our first play of the day. The first play that I'm going to start with is a CRM. I'm just using the screenshots from the community just to go faster. So as you see, my plan right at the morning in the pre-market was 248, 248, 246. These are the key levels. If it cannot hold 248, we will gap fill. If it holds, we will long. Breakout is over pre-market high 250, 280. 250 is the psych level. So we had a plan. We came with the plan. We started small, starter long. As soon as the market opened, I started long because it was pushing, and this was my level, but it was only a starter because I wanted to see the pre-market high breakout. So you see, I said I am long. You can see here my comments right in morning 9:31. I'm long. But then market was heavy and I reduced my size, because if market is heavy, longs don't work. Remember that the longs it will hard for the long trades to work. Always never trade blind. Always look at what market is doing whenever you are in a trade. So that's what happened. I was long and then it flushed, and I closed it right away. I lost $1.50, a little bit more, but I closed it right away because market was heavy, and my setup turned from gap and go to gap fill, and that's when I hit it short, on that, when it was failing that candle right here. So I hit it short. My risk was 250, 252, and from my 250, 52 risk, we flushed all the way to my first target 246. So I met my first target. That's where you lock one. But again, when it was breaking 246, you can add more, because it was a big level. 1, 2, 3. You can see it was a big level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why it was bouncing, right? The levels are not random. That's why I was giving 246 target. That was the reason I was giving a 246 target, and then boom, fade under that 243, and that's where I logged, and then I left like very small 1/4 position, which when it started to curl, that's where I exited. When I saw this candle, I was out. And at the same time, it was good long as well. It started as a B minus long. Your risk is defined. it goes over 34.50, you add more, and it went $5 since where I covered the short. So you guys see, right, the guidance right here, long. So here's the thing, right, you guys have to do what you do, right? So I show you how I manage the trades, how I do the trades, and it was successful. Initial loss, tiny size, I said tiny size, and big win. Boom, big win on the shorts, right? $1,000 shares short, that's 4-point short, 5-point short. There you make $500,000. You recover your loss here. If you were in options, that went 100% too. So that's how you do it, guys. That was our CRM trade. All the guidance was on CRM. You can see here all my time-stamped guidance. People literally killed CRM trade in the community. Everybody was short, and everybody was boom boom. So that was really good on CRM today. Let's move to the next one. So next one we're going to discuss is snow, right? So snow was similar bias change how we did in how we did in Tesla. That's what we did in snow. I'm gonna just show you the screenshot, but you can see all the guidance and snow was there. So right there you see all the guidance, right? We were short, and let me show you quickly here on right here. Yeah, let's do it. One second. Okay, yeah, let's look at this. So you see snow. So what was my plan in the morning? It's all about that 186 level, guys. 186, 140, this level. That was the level. So I was long with that level, right? And it was working, my long was working, and I even added for this breakout. But when it failed, it was working. You could have easily made good money on this amateur move, but then it failed because same thing. I reduced the risk with the market. I said I reduced the risk, and then it was breaking. As soon as it started to break, that's when I said short. Right after 15 minutes, I said short now, right? I closed my longs, I short it, and then the short was all about our targets, right? Went to 2.4. So that was from the CRM, and our target was 182.50 area. That was our targets, and then you see 182.50 puts went 100%. So I even shorted more. So I shorted, it bounced, it rejecting this EMA cloud. I added more short at 188 versus 188, and look at the flush, $7 flush. Home run trade, guys. Even if I lost on the long, that's fine, but look how I changed the bias. When my system change, I change, and that was a huge win. You see the plan with the plan, repeatable, no gut feeling, no hindsight comments, real execution with the real guidance, step by step I'm showing you guys. That's how you can trade consistently and not be biased, and just sticking with your losing position. So good range. I love these earning setups. I teach you again and again. Earning setups are the best setups to trade. All right, guys, let's move to the next one. So guys, next one is Tesla. So as you know, I have been talking about sell the news, right? Remember one thing, whenever there's something becomes so obvious, everybody was like, oh, Cybertruck news is coming, Tesla is going to go crazy. Yes, it went crazy one day, and then everybody was like, we want to load the calls into the Cybertruck news. But guess what? Right at open, let me show you. Right, let's go up, let's look at it. One second here. All right, so let's look at it. So you see Tesla right at open, I said short, sell the news, right? So then all day I was saying there is no long, it's still bearish, no long, right? It did bounce here. It did give you like a morning a B minus B grade bounce, which I think Win traded, B minus bounce at but it's rejected 34.50, all day in the downward channel, right? So my 238 was my first target on the short, which we eventually met. Never change the bias. I never change the bias. All day sell the news, right? If you want to look at my levels, look, let me show you something here quickly. Let me show you morning levels. Let's go back. So look here. So what I'm saying, Cybertruck today, watch out, sell the news. So I told that thing in the pre-market. So that was the plan. So you already knew it's a high conviction trades. There's a news coming. It's already in a bearish cloud. It's already bearish before the market open, right? So bearish bias. A beautiful trade right at open, broke the pivots I gave. It was a short from 244.30, went all the way to 39, $5 short there. If you added the short again, you faded all day. So that you just had to trade this channel all day. So that was amazing. So that's how you stay with the trend, guys. Don't get biased. There was no reason to get long, only for expert scalpers like Win who could scalp the B minus bounce. Otherwise, there was no trend to the upside. This is the bearish trend. This is not a bullish trend. All right, let's look at Google. As I showed you, I already gave the levels and plan for the Google in the pre-market. I gave this pivot. And as soon as it broke down, that was the short. And I said it should fade more. I said because I could read the price action. I said if it breaks 134, it goes lower. 133.60 was the first target. 133 was my next target. 133.60 hit. 133.8. Then I added some lotos after 133, and even those lotos went green. 200%. 133 went 400%. So Google was a flawless short today. Just proud of this Google execution. So you don't need alerts or anything. You just need to follow strict rules, right? I give all the tools to you to learn and so I gave you this, right? So Google 134.84. So I gave you that plan, and it worked out, right? Days like today, these pivots are very important. Let's go to the next one. So I'm going to talk about Boeing. So Boeing, I already said that daily is bullish, right? That was my notes. The resistance pivot was 226, and Boeing was it was not my trade, it was trade of traders. If you see right open, I could see it was strong, and there was people in the community who was trading Boeing long, right? So and they made good on Boeing. They were trading on their own. They did not need me, but I had given the plan, and they had the pivot, right? So if you see, I posted the research in the research tab. I posted the Boeing. So I posted this news in the morning, that Morgan Stanley news on the Boeing. Specifically, I posted it, right? I talked about the relative strength that is going to 228. And then the news hit, and then boom, right? So you just have to be ready with your trades. So if you had a plan for Boeing today, just like so many in the community had, you did really good, right? So, and we were talking about it on the floor and in the LUTs tab. Let's go next play, please. Right. So NVDA again. I did really good in my other place, but of course I guide my community members. People were short. I had given a pivot on NVIDIA. If you want to see the pivots I gave on NVIDIA, let's look at the pivots I gave on the NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, my pivot was 481, 478, 50. Yes, we were ready for, if it went breakout, we were ready, but it was not. Market was bearish and it was breaking down as well. So as soon as it breaks these pivots, and the second pivot is confirmed bearish, 481.40. So as soon as it breaks this pivot that I created 481.40 some right here, that was bearish, and then it broke yesterday's lows. It was more bearish, and then it was all about the targets. So folks were talking about it, was asking me targets. I gave them 467.50 as my first target, and then it hit the 467.50, my first target, and it still faded. It never reclaimed 512, never. Our targets were met, but even it still faded more. It traded 122%, right? And I did try to trade this B minus. I just took some lotto calls against the rules. B minus, we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's bearish. So similarly, my guidance was on Meta. Again, my levels were given. I gave these levels in the pre-market. I gave these pivots in the pre-market, and then it's bearish. Breaking pivots means you have to short it, and the people were shorting it. I was just giving them the targets on the Meta. That we were talking about the targets on Meta, and my target was 324 on the short, and even it faded much more than 324. We met our 324 target right here, and I said it's still heavy, and that's why I kept fading to 322. So you see, this is the guidance I love to give. I love to show that how far we can trade and how far we can fall, and that's how you build conviction to hold your trades longer, your winners longer. If it's a short day, bearish market, you stay short. So anyways, guys, that was Meta NVIDIA guidance. Let's look at some other setups from morning. So this was the Apple setup that I shared. It was breaking the 1 hour level on Apple, and before it bounced, it was a nice fade from that 1 hour level 188.93 to 188, and before it turned bullish in the end. And I will talk about how the market turned bullish in the end, but you could see how Apple was breaking down and how it flushed. You can see before and after on that Apple. So we'll discuss about the bounce that came later and this curl, and we'll talk about the cup and handle in a bit here. So let's talk about some of these ideas which we didn't need to trade everything. So big was a 5 psychological morning trade idea. I was bullish bias versus 5, and it did push from the morning from 5. If you risk 5, you add here, you have 25 cents, and it pushed into more 593, 480s, and it was a decent trade. And you stop out when it breaks here at 550, right? So you risk 25 cents, you made let's say you made 50 cents, right? So 2 reward for 1 risk, and so that was a big idea. So let's talk about NTNX. How did NTNX do? NTNX was, I said it was 44 holes, will push, otherwise gap fill, neutral to bullish, and you see my price alert hits 44.32, hits right away, and then it breaks down, and then I said watch the pops for the gap fill. That's what I said, watch the pops for the gap fill, and look at what it did. It filled the gap. So even if you lose in some trades, guys, look at the setups that are working, right? The ones which don't work, that's fine, lose quickly, lose small. The one which works, you let them work, right? So look at the same setup as no CRM, right? Another gap fill setup. It doesn't fill the full gap, that's fine, right? We always, the first target is 0.61 fib, maybe a full gap fill, that's fine, but it was still a good trade. If you even if you added 44s, 242s, there was a $2 trade there. You risk 50 cents, 4 times your reward, and if you took the options, it probably went 100% there. So that was nice. So I'm gonna quickly talk about Snap. Snap, there was plan, but there was so much happening at the morning. I didn't do anything. But anyways, the Snap, the plan was if 1330 holds, it will bounce. If it fails, it will gap fill, but there was not anyways a huge gap. So again, it's the same repeatable setup. It held 1330, it bounced from it, you long on the pre-market breakout, you take the amateur trade into 1423, that's it, So easy morning trade, defined risk. I gave you the plan, and that's how you do it. So let's look at Ford, guys. So Ford, I mean, it was on the watch list, and you know, it was on my watch list, and I didn't make a plan for it, but people were trading in the community, so I thought I'll just recap it for you guys. But you can see it was on my watch list here. Again, it broke this pivot, it broke this pivot, it broke yesterday's lows, fade, and my target was 10. Went pretty close. So yeah, repeatable setup, guys, right there. Four. So another one I want to talk about is SMCI quickly. Again, in the importance of the pivot level. So my pivot level that I gave was 287. So days like this, you know, these pivot levels are so clean, they're so important. So 287 was the pivot level. So what happened to SMCI? We trade this every day in the community. Every day in the community. You can see here it was, you know, beautiful fade right here, you know, and then earlier it was yesterday was fade from 300, today it was fade from here. You add at the open, risk this, add this breakdown of the yesterday's lows, then when it's breaking a day before 2 days ago's level, you add more. If you get squeezed, don't worry, you have to wait until this level is reclaimed. That is your risk. If you are adding here, that is your risk. You add, if you see this rejection, you add here more, and then let it fade all day, guys. So that's how you trade it, right? Look at the move, guys, from 290 all the way to 267. You know, well, let's see tomorrow a bounce candidate. I'm gonna set a surprise alerts. All right, guys, let's quickly discuss market. SPY QQQ. My call since morning was to short it. So I already said in the morning under the clouds, short, good short scalps, 453.40 was my first target, right? But the SPY was kind of holding this level, man. That it held it so many times. You see levels from yesterday. So buyer keeps coming back, keeps coming back, keeps coming back, but it could never turn bullish, right? Even though the buyer was coming back, it could never turn bullish. You see here, it could never turn bullish. So then what? So then it kept fading, right? And then QQQ was heavier than SPY. You know, look at it. Broke down the pivots that I gave, bear flag, and you know, people did trade it on their own on the QQQ bear flag because of the teachings, and yeah, you know, fade it all day. As you know, that was the guidance. And if you want to see the price alerts, you see there were price alerts all over on the short size. And look at the curl. When it curled over this 512, I sent price alerts. Curl over 512, I sent price alerts. You know, that SPY is over 512. So you can see this is the 3450 test. And then I saw the cup and handle in the closing right at when this breakout was happening. So I said it's a cup, right? So I said it's a cup and handle, you know, cup and handle, right? So we talked about it, I tweeted about it, and that was a good scalp, guys, on this cup and handle setup. We have traded this setup many times again. Once you see that, just scalp 1/3, 1/4 size, good trade into the close, guys. So that's how you do it, guys. Repeatable setups all day, every day, and we're just killing it. You know, I'm planning to do a webinar tomorrow. If you want to join the community, link is up over here. Come for teachings, do not come for alerts. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for everything. Bye-bye.